number?
Yeah, 0609
Yes.
85
Yes.
203, like Lauri.
203 and L.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. What kind of case was it?
The case, I think it's just called money laundering.
Okay. Well, I don't find anything here. So.
Well, I can give you the name. I can give you the name of the prosecutor that was reviewing it.
Yeah. What's the name?
Just a minute. Just a second. Just gotta find it in my inbox.
Yeah. But if it was at Tampere, so
No, this is Helsinki.
Okay.
Yes, just a minute.
Yeah.
Thomas Niemitalo.
Okay. Yeah, he's in Helsinki. Yeah.
Yes.
But so do you got some email?
Well, he's been the decision of the police officer was made like last August, I think.
Yeah.
So like a whole year ago.
Okay. And what?
So obviously, when it comes to money laundering, a police officer will close the case without talking to me, and the police
Okay.
officers at the station said they couldn't collect any evidence. I don't care if people are convicted or not. Well, I do care, like in terms of general justice, but my main concern is not to hold on to evidence of organized crime and be the only person in possession of it. So I try to give it to police. They refuse to take it. Then they make a money laundering case, and it's closed without ever talking to me.
Okay.
But with talking to two other police chiefs, right? One in Tampere, who said I had to report money laundering myself to the National Bureau of Investigations, which is not how it works, right? And that's an email. That's an email. In email, report yourself about the money laundering. Report that yourself to the National Bureau of Investigations. And then I tried to go there in person to report it because like you can't phone you try to phone the National Bureau of Investigations, you can't talk to anybody. So I go in person and they send me to, they're like, well, you got to report crime in the police office. So they send me to the local, the one next door. And they refuse to allow me to report crime in their police station.
Okay.
And then this Helsinki police officer closes the case. But I phone him because I get a letter that just the case is closed. I phone him and he explains how he talked to the Tampere police chief and the Vantaa police chief, and they both apparently investigated something and concluded there was no money laundering.
Okay.
So there was never any investigation into the money laundering in Tampere. They put an email to report it myself to the National Bureau of Investigations. And in Vantaa, that was the day before I reported it in Helsinki. So they just refused to let me report crime.
Okay.
So so you have all the information. I report this to the Helsinki prosecutors to review this decision. They tell me I have to get it reviewed by Tampere prosecutors. I contact them. And they take like 2-3 months to get back to me that no, they can't review a decision made in Helsinki by a Helsinki police officer. So that right, like this is how Finland deals with money laundering. And we're
Mm-hmm.
talking, and just so you know, right? The diamond mine, all this money laundering is about in Angola. After I report this corruption, has a big toxic spill, kills 12 people, and gets like 5,000 people sick, and severely damages the environment. Right. So people die from this sort of corporate corruption. Like the idea that it's not serious is just frightening. Honestly, right?
Yeah.
And then like my next step, if there's not going to be an investigation, I'm just going to go public. All this is an email. Like I'm literally the supervisory manager of this project. Like they use my name. That's why I can tell you it's for sure money laundering and for sure fraud because they use my name to do it. And then they send me the documents by accident, basically. With
Okay.
and the so like and that's all in email. Then the guy blackmails me. He accuses me of not even being the legitimate CEO, and that I've signed illegitimate loans and so on. If I don't resign quietly, serious accusations will be revealed, right? And the company will be damaged and will never be able to raise investment again, and blah 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 blah. He puts this in email, right? Like this is what's so bizarre is like why cover for these criminals that are just so insanely incompetent? They don't even have the respect to like blackmail me over the phone. Like you want to blackmail me, phone me up and hope I'm not recording. Like so anyways,
Yeah.
like all this my next, if there's not going to be an investigation, right, I'll let like the reason I haven't gone public yet is just to see, right, if the system has any self-corrective measures, or is it just a total catastrophe and corruption at every single level? But none of
Yeah.
the evidence goes away. Like if you police are like, oh well, this is going to blow over or whatever, none of the evidence goes away. It's all in email. It's all in attachments. And you have like email
Yeah.
from Finnish police saying things that you can't even bureaucratically do, like report yourself about the money laundering, report that yourself to the National Bureau of Investigations. You can't even do that.
Yeah.
So like so
I have to ask how this Thomas Niemitalo is involved on this case.
he like so I reported it because you can get police decisions reviewed by prosecutors. So
Yeah.
even though nothing, yeah, like if you're wondering why anyone made a decision in Helsinki, that's a good question. I don't know. I only reported in Helsinki because then uh, then, as I said, they sent me to Tampere. Then Tampere prosecutor sent me back to Helsinki, and then this Tuomas Nimitalo got the task of reviewing the police decision, and that was like months and months and months ago. And like the like, I don't need to like the plausible like I'm literally the senior manager, like according to the people laundering money, right? They make documents where I'm supervisory manager, right?
Mm.
Including I'm supervisory manager on the same document, right? I'm in charge of like the CEO of Eurocon
Yeah.
SE in Sweden, which is like a 50 million or 5 billion or whatever. I think five or 50 million, no, 50 million market cap engineering company in Sweden. Maybe I got the exchange rate wrong but anyways, a big engineering company in Sweden.
Mm.
Doesn't make any sense. Like our engineering company at the time was making like less than 100,000 euros of revenue a year because we were raising investment to do our startup thing. So it's not unusual to have a low revenue as a startup, but it is unusual that you'd be put in charge of a 270 million dollar energy project for a diamond mine in Angola and have subordinates like the CEO of a 50 million dollar engineering firm in Sweden.
Yeah.
They put Wärtsilä's name on the documents that somehow we're using like that. We have a deal with Wärtsilä to supply Wärtsilä technology to these deals, right?
Yeah. But hey.
Like so if you wanna look into it, if police want to look into it and be like, oh, there's not enough information to convict anybody, or oh, that bad guys got away, or maybe there's some insane. Maybe they do have a deal with Wärtsilä, right? And maybe I was somehow the supervisory manager and I just didn't notice, and this and that. Okay, maybe everyone's innocent, but you can't tell me there's no plausible suspicion
Yeah.
warranting an investigation, especially when they,
Yeah.
they put an email that they secured $270 million. right? Now people tell me, oh, maybe they're lying. Yeah, sure, maybe they're lying. Great. Is that a defense? Like, and is that a reason not to investigate? Because maybe the criminals are lying about how much money they're laundering? Like, fucking crazy. So
Yeah,
the
but
the
may I suggest? So you have everything you said to me. Do you have these emails?
Yeah, I've sent
Uh,
everything. I sent everything. I've sent everything
yeah.
to police. I've sent everything to. Well, I didn't. They didn't let me give these emails to police at the station, and I have on recording
Okay.
the police officer,
Yeah.
Lauri Lagerbaum, something like this. I have on
Yeah.
recording he telling me that it's false. Like when I said the police didn't let me give them my evidence, they said they
Okay.
couldn't. They said they couldn't. He says that's false. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, if that's false, maybe there's been a mistake in the chain of evidence that got to you, and that's why you have no evidence in making your decision, and maybe you want to review that. And
Yeah.
guess what?
Uh,
Guess what his reason was for never phoning me? Like I'm CEO, chair, managing director of corporations for over 10 years, and then president of NGOs and nonprofits, etc. for like 10 years before that, or 6 or 7 years, anyways. And then his only reason was that 70% of cases in Finland are resolved without ever talking to the person who reported the case. Which is like, what kind of standard of justice is that? And how is that respecting people's right to be heard, right?
yeah. But can I suggest you send the emails to us so I can look what the case is
Okay, great.
and
What's your name?
my name is Kanervo, but you can email to us our what is it? Email. So it comes to here Etelä-Suomen syyttäjäalue.
Yeah,
And the
so the
email.
National Prosecution Authority, Southern Finland.
Yes. Yes.
So anyway, my point is, I'll send you the documents, but like like there is no point. And people like I've sent lots of messages because I believe I'm being murdered and or not being murdered. I mean, I believe I could easily be murdered, right? Like in the Netherlands, there's a money laundering case. The mafia kills the attorney and the journalist helping the witness, right?
Okay.
Like and the UN and the Europol and Interpol, it all explains how money laundering is the key crime that allows organized crime to function, etc. And whenever anyone goes after the money laundering, right, people die. So like now it's possible this isn't like the top level money laundering. Maybe these are like low level scammers and not dangerous, and I would love to hear that, but no one's been able to explain. And the main guy, this Christian Andersen in Norway, who I met, right? Like he explained his business pitch was like his last business he was in was setting up telecoms in Africa, right? And he had these crazy stories. Like he had 3 days to pay FinFund and Swedefund back like 20 million euros, and he didn't have the money. And then suddenly somehow he got the money, and he paid like the last day. So he had all these crazy stories. Now when I met him, like this was like my like first year of running a corporation, right? And then we meet him through one of the business angels that invests. So I think, okay, this is just how business is done, and like there's Norwegian millionaires just like throwing tens of millions of euros around, and but now that I have more experience, that story is totally not credible, right? And because this guy in Norway, this Christian Andersen, he had all the contacts in West Africa. And anyways, the
Okay.
point is like I would love to hear that this is small time scammers or something, and not dangerous. But that is not at all what the evidence points to. Points to like this
Okay.
is the core, like a core component of the money laundering network in Europe, and that's what
Okay.
Interpol, UN, Europol all say, that money launderers work in a network. They do favors for each other. They finance terrorism. They finance obviously narcotics, human trafficking, corruption, right? Like but everything's the point is like police should want to investigate money launderers, especially money launderers who say themselves they've secured $270 million for an energy project for a diamond mine that like that has zero. Like, not only am I the supervisory manager, but like the engineering documents are a joke because the money launderers have no engineering experience. So they make up all these documents, these engineering documents, based on like they'd phone me up and like ask me some like, oh, how much would this cost? What would the efficiency of that? And my answer was always like, I don't know. You got to do a study. That's how engineering works. But they'd be like, oh well, just guess, just for like the purposes of brainstorming. I'm like, I don't know,
Okay.
maybe 5,000. The point is, they put all these numbers in a spreadsheet, right? So not only am I the supervisory manager, but their engineering documents are like a spreadsheet done by like a high schooler, pretending to make an engineering project for like the drama club. Like that's the level of credibility, right? And then they say they have 270 million dollars, right?
Okay.
And
But it's easier.
they say they moved 800,000 from United States to Norway,
Yeah.
right? They put this in Myanmar. They even then one guy, the engineer that they're kind of using, a retired engineer that they're using to have this fake engineering company in Sweden. He even forwards me an email where this money was held up on suspicion of money laundering.
Yeah.
So you have
I
like
understand.
yeah, so you have
So
all of this email evidence, uh,
yeah.
and it doesn't matter. Like people don't like me, right? But why does that matter? When you have the evidence, you can insult people all you want, right? And like I was under investigation for defamation for 2 years, and now I'm no longer under investigation, right? So, and what have been my accusations? Money laundering, fraud, bribery, extortion, various violations of the Auditing Act and the Companies Act, right? And I'm no longer in investigation, so I can go, put on my LinkedIn today. I've accused people of all of these crimes, serious crimes, right? And I've been under investigation. I'm no longer investigating, so I'm exonerated.
Yeah. I really
And why would
understand
I be?
you,
Why would
but
I be exonerated? Why wouldn't I be under in no like? Why? How does a defamation case with such serious accusations go away? Because I have the evidence, right? So how your
yeah.
police are going to have to explain that? They don't find these accusations credible. They've never investigated, but it's not defamation either. And I've been telling anyone who wants to listen: aggravated fraud, aggravated extortion,
Yeah,
aggravated
I really
money
understand
laundering.
you, but when I can't find anything about your social security number,
How is that?
so
How is that
it's
possible?
easier.
This guy. How is that? Just a minute. How is that even possible? Explain to me how that's even possible. If what I say is true, and this Tuomas
What?
Niimetalo has been reviewing my case in Helsinki prosecution office for months, how is it possible that there's just nothing in the system? Because this is what I said.
What?
Like things just keep on disappearing, and then
What
the police
I'm
tell
going
me
to
I'm
say
not
to
credible
you,
for saying that the records are being changed. But no one's ever able to explain how stuff disappears from the system. Like maybe it's a normal thing.
what I'm going to say to you, it's easier for us to find out the
Sure.
case when we know what's going on. So you could send us the email, and we could better look at the case when we
Okay, well
uh,
that makes perfect
maybe.
sense. That makes perfect
Yeah,
sense, and
yeah,
I will do what you ask. I just want to
yeah.
make a note
That was
here
good.
that it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you can explain it later, or your boss can explain it later. But it does not make sense to
Yes.
me that somehow there's no record of any of this.
Uh, yeah, I think we have the record, but somehow I don't find anything, your social
Yeah,
security number.
somehow, just so happens that there's not in the system.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
but
know.
it is
Just for me,
easier for us
yes, I have nothing
when it's
else. I have nothing
on
else
the
to say.
paper.
I have nothing else to say. I'll do as you request. Just want to make a mental note here for both of us that it's
Yeah.
extremely bizarre, and
Mm,
and this is right, and like they hire like the president of the bar association, right, to come after me, and like my ex-wife, because like the other board members, the other startuppers like me, like I have way more experience because I managed all the legal stuff, but like at the start we were all just startuppers in the same and no experience. I gained a lot more experience because I managed all the legal stuff. But they tell me things like a lawyer just showed up, wanting to manage the company legal affairs. That's never.
okay.
I was chair and CEO and managing director for years. That never happened to me. I was just like walking around a conference and some lawyer shows up wanting to work for me.
Yeah.
So there's the like um, But if you look into anything, it takes 1 hour of research, and you will discover that's how the mafia operates. First, they send attorneys and lawyers to try to clean up whatever it is, right? But what's the next step if that doesn't work? It's murder people.
Okay, but this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Mental note of just how bizarre. You have these events, lawyers showing up wanting to work for our company during all of this legal mess. Just coincidence. Records that just disappear, not in the system for some reason. Let's just like make a mental note of all these coincidences. Let's say.
Yeah.
But I will send the information all again, and then hopefully maybe somebody can phone me. And just to tell you, you can tell your colleagues, I'm a Canadian citizen. So if there's no justice in Finland, if nothing's happening, if it's just a cover up after cover up, under the assumption I'll be destroyed, well, that's not going to happen because I have family in Canada that I can go live with for free. And then I put everything online, and then you're not even going to be able to harass me anymore because I'm in Canada. And then if you come, and then like, since I have all the evidence, it's not going to make any sense to go complain to the Canadians, who actually, at least, maybe it's even bigger cover up or whatever. But recently, Canada has like fired all of the, in one province, just fired all of the financial intelligence police officers because they didn't accomplish anything. So they just fired them all. So there is action in Canada against money launderers, some politicians, because we have like provinces that have that run the police. Like there's a federal, it's kind of like the states where there's like states and the federal government. Anyways, the point is, there is what appears to me actual effort to go after money laundering in Canada. So like, you're not going to be able to harm me anymore. Like, and it's insanely harmful being under investigation. I have to disclose I'm under investigation for crime, right? In all my business dealings for 2 years. Yeah. So it's insanely harmful for me, but you won't. Yeah. Pardon?
Yeah. Send the email.
Yes.
So we
yes.
reply to
Great.
you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.